Hey everyone, welcome to the Indie Composers podcast. This is our first ever video and interview. My name's LJ Garcia, and I'm joined by my awesome co-host, Jon R. Moore. Jon, say hi to the wonderful people.
Hey there.
And we are the guys behind Indie Composers. So today we are super excited to be joined by our special guest, Morgan Nichol. How you doing, Morgan?
Good, good. How are you guys?
Doing well, thank you.
Fine so far.
Morgan is a composer from Northern Canada and has released 2 albums to date. His debut album, The Moonchild, and Breathe Life Into You, which was released February 24th of this year. So, Morgan, first question I want to ask you is, so what got you into music?
Oh, that goes way back. That's like, I have to say in high school. High school was when I really dove into music. I think it was like grade 10. I bought my first, actually, I don't even want to admit it. My very first album I ever got, I think was like in grade 6. And it was like Prozac, which is like this old pop band, but I didn't listen to them. Yeah, I know. My first album that I actually went out and bought, I think, was Alexis on Fire, Watch Out. And that album really got me into like the sick riffs and more into metal. And then I bought Lost Prophets Start Something album. And that album really got me into, I'm going to buy a guitar and learn how to play this. And I literally would sit there every night and I played through the entire album on my guitar. Like I had this like guitar processor that I plugged my MP3 in with all the songs so I could play along with the songs. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I played that whole album from start to finish. It drove my dad nuts, probably. I loved it. And then from there,
That's awesome.
like I got into AFI. So I got into like more of the darker stuff, especially the earlier AFI, a lot of the punk stuff.
Yeah.
Rammstein, that really opened up a lot of doors for me.
Yeah.
And a big one for sure was Nightwish. I remember I used to be a hunting and fishing guide, and listening to Nightwish while you're outside doing things, it's just something just connected, and I was hooked. Definitely, I think it was the Century Child album that hit me the hardest. Like Oceanborn was good, Angels Fall First, the earlier stuff, Wishmaster, but for sure Century Child was like, that made me like, okay, this is something I want to do. This is something I gotta dive into. I don't know anything about piano, nothing. I couldn't find middle C, nothing. I didn't own any keyboards. So I saved up and I bought a Chord Karma, which is something that Tuomas Holopainen actually used during the recording of his Wishmaster and Century Child album. Wish I had a picture of it. I wish I had it here. Actually, it's downstairs. But it's like this huge pink keyboard. Like, I don't know. It's sick though. And then from there, yeah, I don't know. It just grew from there pretty much. And yeah, so.
All right. Sick. So then for your music, what tools do you usually work with for your songs? So like, for example, the digital audio workstation slash virtual instruments,
Yeah,
etc.
VSTs and DAWs and stuff. Yeah, like with DAWs, I first started with Sonar, and I apologize now if any of you guys are Sonar users. Back then, Sonar was such a piece of garbage. It worked, but like it crashed. You'd be 6 hours into a song. Don't know if you guys ever experienced this. You're like 6, 8 hours into a session, and then your session crashes, and there's no auto recover. And it was like, it was the worst thing in the world because like I said, I'd be 5, 6 hours into a song. It'd be going great, and then it'd crash. I'd lose everything, and I didn't save for like 3 hours, right? Because you're so in the zone doing it. And then and I think back then it was like I didn't even have the real version. I had like a pirated version, so that's probably why. So and then from there, I use Ableton now, Ableton Live, and I was thinking about going to Logic as well and Pro Tools, but Ableton, the reason why I stuck with it was just so user friendly to me. I dove into it. It was easy to learn. There's lots of sound engineering you can do with Ableton. Very basic, and pretty much people can argue until they're blue in the face about which DAW is better. Logic is good for this. FL Studio is good for this. Cubase is good for this. Technically, long story short, they're all the same thing. They all do the same thing. They all have a record button. It just comes down to what you're most comfortable with. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And what you find easiest to work with your genre. And for me, that was Ableton. I'm sure maybe I will like Logic, maybe I will like, other ones, but Ableton just seems to be the one that works easiest for me. So.
Hey.
Awesome. So you have a really cool and unique sound. So from where do you draw your inspiration?
That, I think, even to this day, I'm still kind of working on my sound, you know what I mean? Building it. It takes years to really craft your own way, especially in YouTube, because it's like, there's only a handful of, Magic Fantasy composers, like us, you guys, Darren just started up, who's Peter Gunder's brother. Peter, he was a huge inspiration for me. Everybody knows Adrian Von Ziegler. Everybody knows him, and yes. Brunaville. Those are like the two, like when I was in high or college playing World of Warcraft, I'd always have their stuff on in the background while I'm like working on, raiding or questing, right? It was just like the go-to music.
Very true.
Yeah.
Pioneers.
Yeah,
honestly,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time. So the thing is, you don't want to, it's good to use them as like a stepping stone to like learning your VSTs and learning song structure and stuff. But from there, you should try to forge your own road, figure out what you like down in, not so much always what other people like, which is important as well, but do what you feel works best. And I'm constantly conflicted with that all the time because I'm a huge metalhead, but at the same time, I like symphonic metal. I'm really good at writing pop music. Like I'm really good at writing pop music, but I don't want to make a pop channel. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like you got to choose what works best for you. And for me, it was just like I'm huge into witch culture, big time. I'm huge into dark folk. I know I could listen to that stuff all day and never get tired of it. And when I listen to it, it feels right. Something feels right, and I love composing it as well. So. And there's also this other side of me that's really big into Magic Fantasy. I think there should be mystery in music. I think that's really important. People like an escape. I want to provide escapism for people. I think that's so special. Nothing's better than hopping in your car, driving to work, and listening to something that just gets you away from the world for a while. Even if it's a half an hour or an hour car ride. Some people live for that moment. And if you can write an album or a few songs that just gives them that escape for however long, I think you've done justice. You've done your job, and to keep that going. So for my sound, it will always have like a pagan, dark folk, witch aspect to it, the silver lining to it. Even though somebody can listen to it and never even feel that, that's fine. I want people to take, their own, I guess, inspiration, their own story from that song as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I don't put lyrics in music. Some people are like, why don't you put people singing? I don't really want to do that because it kind of gives people a story right away. When you put your own lyrics into a song, they're like, hey, that's what the story's about. We got it. Whereas if you don't put any lyrics and you put just, your instruments, your VSTs, people can take whatever they want from that song and make their own story from it. And I think that's so special. So that's another reason why I chose this genre. Not only that, it has a long shelf life. You can listen to it now or 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and it's not like a pop song where it's only good for a few months in the summer and then the next best thing comes. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, it's universal as well. It can be listened to in any language in any parts of the world, and people can understand. You know what I mean? I think that's so important too. Yeah, and the possibilities are endless when it comes to this genre. You can do whatever you like. Oh, yeah. There's there's not so many barriers or walls. It's like, no, you can't do that because it sounds so much like that. You can literally do whatever your imagination tells you to do. And you just experiment and throw it out there and see if people like it or not, So.
Very true.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry.
No,
I go on a tangent. That's my thing. I go on a tangent, man. I can talk and just be like, yeah.
Oh, that's what we want. That was amazingly said. Yeah.
Good.
No,
Yeah,
exactly. And you're not held down to a particular instrument. You can incorporate whatever you want.
Exactly. Yes. And you can do whatever you feel. If you feel like doing a, an emotional song with just piano and strings, you can. If you want to do something that's dark and witchy, you can bust up the taiko drums, the harps, and the cymbals and whatever, right?
Very true.
Mhm.
So then, what is your like routine for composing music slash like what does that process look like for you?
That one's changed over the years. When I started doing music when I was like 18, 19, 20, I would literally only do music at night. After 5 o'clock, I'd have dinner, go downstairs, my parents' basement, have my little studio, and I would sit there till like 2 in the morning. Now, when you're younger, and I'm 31 now, I feel your body changes from your early 20s to your late 30s. I know it sounds crazy, but trust me, it's nuts. Like after 25, it just starts going downhill. Um, hard, man, like so hard. You feel like shit in the morning. We wake up, you're just like, yeah, you didn't even sleep. But yeah, I used to compose just at night. The problem with that is that you get into the right mentality sometimes for your music, but you start getting sloppy at like 12 or 1 in the morning, especially if you're playing guitar. I used to record not MIDI at all. Everything used to be live, like plug in like an audio jack into your laptop or your audio interface, and there was no quantization. It was just all by your timing and trying to get it right with a live guitar, right? So I did that for years, way too long. And then how we do it now is I find I've composed best in the morning. As soon as I wake up, I'll make a pot of coffee, light a fire, turn on my computer, check my emails, see what's going on, check my YouTube, check analytics, see how everything's going there, and then boot up my keyboard, my DAW. If it's a song that I've been working on, it's really heavy. Like there's a lot of instruments in there. Sometimes I'll boot it up and let it wait for. Sometimes it takes like 15 minutes for a project to open up. So it's yeah. Then from there, if it's a project I'm already working on, I'll just continue from where I left off. If it's something new, usually I use pictures, music videos, and I just mute them. Something that inspires me. Pictures inspire me big time. Artists like Bella Kotak, I worked with her lots. We're good friends. Her imagery is just amazing for inspiration, at least for me. Movies like The Witch, I love that movie. The Village, um, Memoirs of a Geisha, just beautiful scenery, just the small things, the small details that people may overlook while watching the film. But if you go back and rewatch these things, there's so many small, beautiful details that really inspire me.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's pretty much my process, and then just go from there.
Sweet.
Yeah. No, that's on a I like that what you said about night composing, because I don't know, Jon, if you are the same way, but it really does. It throws you get lazy around midnight, and then you're exhausted the next day.
You're like, oh, it sounds so good. This is such a killer song. You wake up and you're like, what the hell was I doing?
Like, what is this? Sounds awful. It's like, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
Turn off that reverb.
Yeah.
Right. See, I think for me, at first, I would usually compose songs at night, though I ran into similar issues. So I've slowly shifted towards composing like within an say a hour of waking up, and then from that it just sort of falls, and I don't really compose as much through the rest of the day for some reason, and I'm not sure why.
So how long do you go from the morning? Like, do you both compose in the morning? Usually?
I'm a night composer. Still in that phase.
For me, it seems to vary from I can compose for a single hour to sometimes 3 or 4 hours straight, and then I just sort of never touch it for the rest of the day for some reason. I'm not sure why, honestly.
Yeah, everybody has their own thing. Like there's days where I'll literally get up, sometimes 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I won't leave my computer chair till 11:30, 12 at night, almost. Like, so you put in like some, 12, 13, 16 hour shifts at the computer. I'll only get up to use the washroom, eat, and
Yeah.
that's about. I'll shower like halfway through the day, do maybe a workout. Usually I run, but I'll get right back to it and I'll just grind hard, like push and push, especially on my days off. When you have responsibilities, like jobs, a house to look after, relationships, family, that those are always really important to have in your life. So you have to learn balance, and the days where you can get away with grinding 14, 16 hours into music and it's something you want to do, you got to push. Like you got to be hungry and go after it.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So for the next question, we want to talk about your recent album called Breathe. Sorry, Breathe Life into You.
Yes.
So you said for the song called Moth to a Flame that it's about how someone could be irresistibly attracted by something that they pay little to no attention to the potential consequences. So is there a story behind the conception for this theme?
Exactly. Well, as an album, yes. I've had other people ask me about that too. It's like this song about somebody, and not to say about somebody, but like it's more deeper than that. The whole album was inspired by basic human instincts. Yeah, so like I use, and it's kind of a play with words as well, like a moth to a flame. Like I don't know if you guys know, but say if you have, in the summer, your light outside, there might be bugs all over it, like moths, right? They fly. They're super attracted to light. Well, it's just like how a moth is to a flame. They're so like infatuated. They're just so, I don't know. They're so attracted to it. Yeah, it's something that they can't even control. It's kind of like when we see somebody that we really like for the first time, somebody we've never seen before. We're just like, I really like that person, and you can't control your feelings. You know what I mean? And you start doing silly or stupid things, that you may have overlooked because you're just so infatuated by this person. So that's where the two stories tie together. Whereas a moth will literally fly into a flame and kill itself because it's so attracted to it, and a person will, fall in love with somebody so much that they'll end up damaging themselves in the process because they just did not think about things. But the whole album is kind of based around that idea, just like Fox and the Hound. Fox and the Hound was just a simple song about the chase, the thrill of the chase, and how that feeling where like a cat and mouse. You ever put a mouse in front of a cat? Have you ever seen that happen? It's the cat will not chase the mouse because if the mouse is sitting there and it's not running, the cat will not chase it. But as soon as the mouse takes off running, the cat will go off and chase it because it's instinct for them to chase something. It's just like a wild animal, like a bear. A bear won't really do anything unless you run away from it. Then it'll chase after you.
Right.
And for people, once say you start dating somebody or you attract to somebody, there's a thrill to chasing after that person until you get them. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? And then once you
yeah,
date them and
yeah.
you're in a relationship, that thrill of the chase is kind of gone because you've already have what you wanted, what you chased after, right? So
Right.
yeah, that's the story of the Fox and the Hound. It's just the chase, you know. But the whole album is like that was the inspiration for the entire album because it's something that's deeper in in humans, and it's just something I find fascinating. So
And just
Very good.
side note on the album, Fox and the Hound is my favorite. I
thanks,
love
man.
that song.
Yeah.
So good. Such a good
Thanks. Yeah.
song.
Cool.
Yeah, no problem. So, what advice can you share to young composers who use YouTube as an outlet?
Uh, that don't it be very patient, very, very patient, and don't compare yourself to others. Only battle yourself. It's only you against you. And just keep you're always gonna make mistakes. You're gonna be your worst enemy when it comes to like judging yourself. We're always hard on ourselves. It's all composers. We'll put out a song that we don't like or that you think that we really like, and then people are just they don't really react to it well. And then you'll put out a song that you're it's like mediocre, it's okay. You'll put it out just to put a video out and people will love it. Like and I learned that from there's one song I put out and it was just a complete whatever. I made it in the afternoon. It was just like more of a riff. It was Druids of the Witchwood. I put out that song just as a like whatever, just see what people feel about it. And I did not like that song. And to this day, I still don't like it because it's not really complete. I was just whatever. I threw it out there and then I took it down because I'm like, I'm gonna work on this more, you know. And then a girl messaged me. She's like, "Hey Morgan, can you put this back up? Can you put that song back up?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, okay." I threw it back up, and I think now it has like over 40,000 views. So I was just like,
Holy
okay,
smoke!
yeah. So I was like, what the
Nice,
heck? Like,
nice.
Yeah.
so
Yeah, very
it's
good.
that's another thing I want to give advice to is, you know, just because it's something that you may not be 100% happy with, doesn't mean it's gonna be the same for somebody else. Somebody else may absolutely love that song. So keep that into consideration when you put out an album. You may be like, the album's all right, and then somebody be like, I really love that song on that album, and it's a song that you never even thought of. It's like filler, right?
Right.
So don't overthink things. Just make the music. If you're stuck on a song, stick at it. You know, come back to it if you have to. Just put it out and don't worry about it. Move on and grow. Don't sit on a song for literally 3 months because I've seen so many composers do that. They'll sit on a song for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Then they release their, 3-song EP that they spent a year and a half making these 3 songs and nothing happens. They could have spent that time building themselves a library, and just growing as an artist. You can't grow if you just sit there and stick on the same thing and dwell over it. Not every song you write is a masterpiece. That's true.
Right.
Like it happens lots. It's just move forward and you grow from every song you do. And that it's slow going, be patient. It's saturated big time in terms of like uh musicians and composers and stuff, but luckily for us in our genre, it's not too saturated. There's room for people to find you. Does that make sense? And to grow from it. And don't just use YouTube for marketing as well. YouTube's one good outlet, but it's not like how it was 10 years ago. Because like Spotify wasn't around 10 years ago. It's Spotify's killing it now. It's the same with iTunes. Before there was no iTunes, that's why Adrian and Brunaville, like they're great, they're amazing composers, but they came in at a time when there was no other outlets for composers or indie composers. They came in at a time where it was just like bang on. YouTube was the only way to see these things or hear this music genre. So yeah.
Yeah, John and I were talking about that yesterday when we were rehearsing for our interview now. And we brought up the fact that 2 hours of Celtic music, like that was the first time it was ever done, and it just exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it sits at 43 million now, I think.
Oh,
I believe. Yeah.
You just drawn
That's
back
amazing.
to it, yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
Amazing.
Yep.
So, what are some things you wish you knew about composing before you got started, if any?
Many. I'm still learning. I'm still learning things to this day. Oh, there's so many things. It's a very expensive hobby.
It is.
Very time consuming.
Oh yeah.
It can be lonely, like because you'll spend days and days by yourself at a keyboard in a room by yourself, and there's nobody there to pat you on the back. You're just doing your thing and trying your best. You
Hmm.
will gain a few friends along the way, but it's few and far between. Um, and if you want to make time to make music, you have to make sacrifices in your life. You can't game as much as you want to when it's tough.
Oh
You
yeah.
can't. Oh yeah.
100%. Yeah.
If you have relationships, you got to find somebody that understands that you need time to work on your music. At the same time,
Yeah.
you got to balance the relationship life as well. You can't neglect that.
Yeah.
Family, taking care of your health, because if you're sitting at a computer for 12, 13 hours a day, it's not good for your circulation. You can get health
Yeah.
problems big time, and a lot of us overlook that. Um, in terms of like, I wish I learned MIDI faster. If you can dive, if people want to get into composing, learn MIDI, learn how it all works, like MIDI keyboard, getting the right keyboard that works for you. If your keyboard has weighted keys, do you want to do something that has, those are all little important things. Key- Hotkeys, learn your hotkeys for
Hmm.
recording. That
Yes.
seriously speeds up a lot of time. If you want to redo something, Control Z, R for record, or F9 for record.
Mm.
Just quick things of using your mouse, going back, clicking. Um, Learn about sample rates. Learn about what VSTs work best for you, or else you end up spending a lot of money on VSTs that you don't need. So watch videos,
Yep.
watch a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of
Yep.
tutorials, a lot of reviews. Seriously, because I spent thousands of dollars on VSTs, and there's some that I'm literally sitting there collecting dust, and they're like $700 VSTs, and I've maybe used them once. So it's like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that like really hard, honestly.
Oh yeah, it's
Same.
painful. Big time. Wait for sales. That's another one.
Yeah.
Wait for sales.
100%.
They
Yeah.
always come up on sale. Wait for sales.
Plug-in
And
fatigue.
yes, yeah, big time. Um, Another thing is take your time, learn your headphones when it comes to mixing your audio. Whether it's headphones, whether you mix with studio speakers, whatever it is, really reference, listen to other people's music, go back to yours, go back to other people's music, listen to it into your car, uh, iPhone headphones, your studio headphones, everything. It may not sound perfect in every single place, especially your car. Don't just go off by your car because you have shitty speakers in your car. Really understand your studio monitors and your headphones. And that takes the only way to get good at that is just by practicing and taking time to do it. You're not going to be pro when you first start off because you've never done it before. You don't know how loud the drums should be.
Right.
If they're sharp or if there's too much reverb, the wet and dryness. People don't know that stuff when they first start off. So be patient. Just dive in head first because that's the only way you're going to learn. Make mistakes. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, and don't be afraid to try things out and learn mastering as well.
Hmm.
Whatever you use. If you use Ozone, some people they have another. What's that website they have out now where you pay like so much a month, and it does pretty
Oh,
decent masters too. Uh,
is that East West or no?
no,
Those are VSTs. Isotope.
no Isotope you can actually buy. Isotope's actually I use Isotope. Um,
Yeah.
uh, why can't I think of it?
Yeah.
Lander.
Ozone is.
Lander is something that
Oh
if
yeah.
if you want a quick master, it's actually not that bad. It's a couple you pay so much a month, but if you have the money and you're able to fork it out, and you don't want to deal with Ozone or iZone, um, or Ozone, I mean, then use Lander or something just to get it out, so it's on YouTube and it's a little bit polished for people for listening. You
Hmm.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I guess I know this is pretty winded this one because there's so many things. Last thing for sure, if for YouTube, learn how to edit your videos and make music videos. Uh,
Yep.
learn how to structure a picture because there actually is art behind that. Um, Learn about the different types of pictures you can use, the fonting, the fonts you can use, and what programs do you like to use? So I use Adobe for all my stuff, and that's an amazing program. You can do has Photoshop, it has everything on there, all the tools you need to make nice YouTube videos. So it's expensive though. So
Right. Yeah. So say that you have been trying to start a song for like, I don't know, say like 3 weeks,
Mhm.
though you for some reason can't really sit and play the first note, so you just feel burnt out. So
Mhm.
how do you like work through that essentially?
Burnout is killer.
Mm,
And we all get affected by it. It's inevitable. You will get days where you just sit at the computer and you just have you don't know where to start, but you know you got to do something. I dealt with that lots, especially, and I won't lie, especially during my last album, big time. I was like 5 songs in, 6 songs in, and I had a lot going on in life at the time.
mm,
I I was literally done. And I even talked to Peter about this. Like, we'll call each other lots and just give each other like, you know, pep talks. So sometimes we need it. Even somebody like Peter Gundry, who has like 600,000 subs, like there's days where we need to talk. We're just so tired. But at the same time, when you start something, finish it. When I started this album, Breathe Life Into You, I was already over it. Like I said, 5 songs in. I wanted to work on my dark stuff, but I know that I had piano pieces that needed to go somewhere that would not fit on the dark stuff. So I'm like, okay, I just bite the bullet, you know, put your nose to the grindstone, finish it, just get it done, get it like at least 10 songs. Um, and the only way to really combat that is to just sit at the keyboard, turn off all your social media stuff, turn off your phone, turn off distractions, take off your subscriptions from games if you have to. Like seriously, I'm a
yeah.
huge gamer. I'm a big gamer. I was doing that before this interview. Like you have to shut things off and just get it done. And that's the only way. Like people, you can't wait for inspiration. You can you can go look for it in terms of like pictures, watching movies, but the only way you're gonna get inspired is just sitting at the piano and going, and it's not going to come to you right away. Sometimes you just got to sit there and mess around, and it sounds crazy. I didn't believe it at first, but it's true. Just sit there and pluck away at it and it'll come. And if you're spending 3 weeks on a song, that's way too long. I'm like
True.
building
Yeah.
a song, yeah, if it's getting to that point, you can't think of anything, or you can't think of a chorus that fits that, you know the intro of the song, you can't think of an intro, just shove it to the side, move forward, go on something different. If that's like last resort, you can't think of anything else, just move forward, because you're wasting too much time in that song. Um,
Mhm.
that's just the way I am, and yeah. So
Very good.
yeah, it's sleep.
Oh, that's great advice.
That's
Yes.
the last thing.
Indeed.
Sorry, get some
Yeah.
sleep. If you can't get
Yeah.
like inspired, you're not writing well, go to bed early and get back up in the morning, get back at it.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
So, got a question here from Jeffrey Marquez.
Okay.
He says, I guess we kind of touched on this earlier, but did you learn to play any instruments? If so, which ones? And were you self-taught?
Yes, I was 100% self-taught and everything. Guitar. I started off with guitar, electric guitar, acoustic. Then I moved to bass a bit, and then I had a drum set. And I started playing drums, except it hurt my wrist a lot. So that's when I got into like it's weird. Like the vibrations hurt my wrists. It was the weirdest thing. Um, and then from there, I got into piano. Like when I got around to listening to Nightwish a lot, that's when I bought a piano and just dove into it. I couldn't play anything, and I started learning songs from them. I think the first piano song I learned was like "While Your Lips Are Still Red" by
Oh.
Nightwish,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
"Last of the Wilds," um,
Mhm.
and "Bless the Child." That's when I got to like a lot of the symphonic stuff.
Yeah.
Then I started playing like what else was there? Some Stradivarius riffs.
Mm.
Um, Children of Bodom, a lot of stuff from them. So I think we're just learning riffs on piano. And I think Killer Grew. Do you guys know Killer Grew?
I've
Big
heard of
artist.
them. However, I
Yeah,
don't think I've
is
listened
that
to
a
them.
Norwegian band?
Yeah, it's his name's Chris. He's from Sweden. He
Oh,
makes like uh, he makes like not dubstep. It's like instrumental, electronic, mixed with nature. It's awesome. Check out his stuff. But that's how he learned too. He just learned literally the same way I did, listening to Nightwish and just playing riffs on the piano. And then you kind of get an idea of where the chords are. You know what I mean? You just start seeing it on the piano, and if you play it long enough that you put thousands of hours in, you start understanding the keyboard on its
Mm.
own, then octaves, and but a lot of it too is just watching and learning, watching videos, learning tutorials, of how strong our songs are structured, certain song structures, how to put songs together and what instruments work with others and so on. But yeah, self-taught.
Very good.
and kind of a silly question, but like, I don't know, do you have a
Ask away.
go-to do you have a
I like
go-to
it
snack or drink when composing, or combination of the two?
all the time. Yeah. I'd say, well, even right now, I drink like it's called Tazo. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, Tazo
And
tea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
it's not focusing. Come on, focus on my finger. Tazo tea with it's the lemongrass mint with a slice of lemon and some honey, and that's
Mm,
I drink that all day in a Yeti cup because it keeps it nice and warm. Nothing's worse than like a cold coffee or cold tea because you
right.
forgot about it. That,
Exactly.
yeah. Oh, what the heck is that? Try when. Oh, oh my God, it's my girlfriend's laptop. Sorry about that.
No,
Something
no
popped up
worries.
on Cortana.
It's
Um,
all good.
yeah, there's that. I don't know, toast. A lot of toast and honey. I was bad for that for so long. Cereal. We all eat cereal. I got to get away from that. I just like eat just fruits and veggies. I try to stay healthy. How about you guys?
I try, and I usually fail. But
Like for foods, what's your favorite snacks?
When
favorite snack.
composing?
Yeah.
Oh no, you go first, John.
Um, when composing, it's usually simply water,
Oh
since
yeah.
it's actually healthy,
Mhm.
and so I feel healthy when I'm actually drinking this instead of like soda or something.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Soda and composing, it gets you pumped, especially if you're writing epic music, but not a good combination in my
Right.
opinion. I'm more
No.
of a tea person.
All right
And
on.
then Swiss cheese and crackers.
Really? Cheese
Yeah.
and crackers.
So, just take one and get back to work.
Yeah. I will have
Absolutely.
sometimes like beer and wine at night too,
Mm.
depending, but you gotta be careful with that too, because sometimes you get like a few beer in and then you start making mistakes and you're just sloppy. So yeah.
I'm gonna unless you if we're are we pressed for time at the moment, or
Oh, I'm good. Yeah.
cool.
You can ask me
Um
whatever.
I'm good. Yeah.
uh so I guess more of a I think a lot of composers, especially nowadays, struggle with this, but do you or can you read music? I personally can't. I know a lot of composers that don't. And is it necessary
Yeah.
for writing music?
That's a good question. And I've thought about this for a long time. It's definitely an asset if you can read music. That's awesome. And I envy you guys, whoever can read music. I cannot read music. I cannot read one note of music. I don't understand it. With that said, you don't need to know musical notes in order to compose music. You don't, unless you're actually writing for film where they want to see sheet music. But there's people out there that can write sheet music to your music as well. That's what they're paid to
Mm.
do. You know, it's the way yeah, I thought about that for a long time. Like for years, I was like wondering, should I learn sheet music and stuff? And I've never gotten to it. I may one day get into it, but you don't need to learn that stuff. Uh, just learn the keyboard, learn how chords work, learn riffs, That's the best way, and just stick at it, and you'll know when a note doesn't fit. I play everything by ear. Um, I covered just I think it was for Aethel and Olga. Sorry, Aethel and yeah, her name's Olga. Mirker's Himmel Blef Sort. That was all done by ear. Most of the songs I do cover just strictly by ear, and it's if you have a good ear, you can write music. Simple as that. You don't need to know sheet music, though it is definitely an asset, and I envy you guys that do. So, yeah,
Yeah, I can't read music.
yeah, and yeah,
Can
a
find
lot of
C.
people can't. Yeah, and that's okay. It's not the end of the world, Biggest thing to learn is like patterns, big song structure is a big one. That's take time to learn song structure. A lot of people have trouble with that. They'll make songs that like just drag on or they're too short. It's almost like they're halfway done, and depending what genre you do, structures fit certain genres. Like pop has this very certain structure they follow. You know what I mean? Dark folk has a different structure from pop music. You can try to integrate both. It's tough, and try to remember what, keep the listeners excited. So you got to figure out a structure that keeps the listeners integrated, involved in the song enough to listen to it the whole way through, which is a challenge as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
do you ever find yourself when you are composing utilizing like a pop structure for your song?
all the time, all the time, all
It's
the time.
so easy to do.
It is, and it makes it catchy too, but at the same time, it's like it's not the same because there's no lyrics to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's killer. It happens to me all the time. Because you do the intro, you make a nice intro, then it's like, you make a verse. But I mean, with Magic Fantasy music, verses don't really fit in all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And choruses, like, how many times you have a chorus in a song with a Magic Fantasy song? Sometimes it sounds a little overplayed when you have like 2 or 3 choruses. It's like, okay, that's when it's close to folk music, I find, when it comes to Magic Fantasy stuff. So if you want to make music that's structured good for Magic Fantasy or indie, whatever we do there, listen to folk music. Folk's really close to it, or dark folk as well. So, or Celtic music,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, it's hard to break away from that because that's something we're all taught at a young age, how to compose music. You got the verse, or the chorus, the verse, the pre-chorus, the chorus, and then yeah, it's verse 2, chorus, bridge. Yeah,
And then the
third
final chorus.
then the outro, and it's like, and you gotta be careful because if you do your whole album like that, it gets too repetitive and too predictable. And people don't like predictability when they're listening to music. They like to be surprised, or caught off guard. So, yeah.
Well, and that's actually to bridge off of that. I think it's also easy to do, and I was watching a tutorial by Marcus Warner. Do you know of Marcus Warner?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and did you watch his videos, his how to write epic music tutorials?
Yes, I have. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about how about copy and paste. And how do you feel about, copying what you've already recorded and then pasting it and so?
I have nothing against that at all. That's honestly, depending on the song, it only makes sense. Like when it comes to drums, of course, you're not going to make a new drum sound every single one. I mean, you can if you want, each to their own, but to me, it doesn't make sense unless you want to add a more live, realistic sound to it. You know what I mean? But you can do that within, 8 parts or 4 bars or 8 bars. You can do your different sounds per that and really change it up so it's not the same electronic sound. Does that make sense? You don't want a too electronic sound where it's like, yes, exactly. Change your velocities a bit.
Yeah.
In terms of the copy and pasting, I do it all the time because some songs are structured where, you've done half the song and you repeat it again and it's done. Keep it simple sometimes. Sometimes you don't want to go too complex sometimes because it's hard for the listener to understand it. Sometimes they just like easy listening and get lost in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I'm not afraid to admit that I do the copy and paste part. That's just part of song building. There's some riffs that you're not gonna replay again, I guess, or re-record because you're against copy and pasting. That doesn't make any sense. So like,
No, yeah, you're right.
yeah, it's just that, and you're losing so much time. Like you try to save as much time as you can while composing a song because you can spend a lot of time wasted on a song if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I
arguably,
feel that.
Great.
Yeah.
It's not really a difference between the two, except for that live sound, right?
I never even thought of that. Like, do people actually have issues with people copying and pasting? Is that a thing?
I
don't
mean,
know.
I sort of feel that way
Really?
since I'm shooting for composing for films full time, and they usually won't repeat a section from a song unless it's some sort of theme for a character, for example.
Yes. Yeah.
So I tend to avoid simply repeating sections unless it was, for example, maybe 3 minutes since one section played, so I can sort of justify that more, since it doesn't sound like it's copy and pasted, since it's so far from the like first time that it played, if that makes sense, I guess.
Well, that too, and that's the genre you're doing as well. Like movie scores are like they're definitely different from a Celtic song or a folk song. You know what I mean? So it would be weird to hear a chorus again and again and again in a movie score. You know what I mean? If
True,
like,
true.
It doesn't fit. You're playing. You're playing to the film, not so much the song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
that makes sense. So
it's supposed to complement what's on screen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Got any other questions, Jon?
Not that I can think of right now.
Is there anything just random you guys want to ask?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Ask
thinking.
What's your favorite season?
Oh yeah, 'cause that's reflected in your music a lot, I feel.
Big time, yeah. Can you guys guess?
Winter.
Fall.
One of you guys got it.
It's fall.
It's
gotta
fall.
be fall. Yes,
It's fall. Hands
Wrong.
down. Yeah. Winter's all right. It drags on though, especially northern Canada.
Oh,
We have winter for like 8 months of the year. It's still snow outside right now. So it's fall.
Seriously.
Big time. Big time. Yeah. It's just like I said, I guess it's just the dark Halloween. If it could be Halloween every day of the year, that'd be a dream for me. I would love that. It's just the ambience, the feeling of the season, and it's the smell of rotting leaves.
Oh yeah.
Does it put you in like a medieval mood, kind of like a mood that reflects?
Yes. Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, it definitely puts me into like like dark, spiritual, something primal, dark folk, kind of like a witch culture stuff. It really, really affects my music big time, big time. So it's a really important year for me, or time of the year for me. And depending on the seasons of the weather, that really affects my composing as well. Where I compose, there's a lot of windows, so if it's if it's fall time, the leaves are falling just right and all the colors, it's so inspirational to me. So yeah, big time. You guys have ask away, ask me anything you want, man.
Yeah, I'm like racking my brain, thinking of something. I want to not ask like generic questions, I guess we kind of covered most of the. What's your all right? What's your biggest what is the thing that if you could fix about working with the AWs and just composing music in general, like what is your biggest pet peeve?
I wish there was like an easy pan button where it just sets all your orchestra into certain, where it just fits nicely. That would be awesome. I know it's impossible. It's like one of those, it's just like a sound good button. You know what I mean?
Right.
You make it just sound good. Yeah, yeah, no, that would be nice. But for DAWs, uh, I wish I wouldn't say so much the DAW. I'd say I wish uh, VSTs weren't so RAM heavy, and
Yeah.
like where if you have 40 instruments, you don't have to flatten the tracks or whatever to make it sound so you can listen to it fully. I wish that comes down to power of your computer, right?
Mm.
I just wish what this genre or making music wasn't so tech heavy in that sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I
No, it
wish it was
does. Yeah.
just yeah, I wish it was just there's a lot of technical stuff with it, but I guess that just comes with this art. There's so much technicality to it, but at the same time, that's what gives you the freedom to do things as well. Um, I can't really think of much more with DAWs. They're pretty straightforward. You know what I mean? Like they're all record, go. Yeah, maybe more. I guess more aesthetic stuff, like more customizable interfaces. That'd be pretty cool. Make it your own
Yeah. Change
instead of
the
just like
background, maybe.
yeah, change the templates a bit, like instead of just
Yeah.
gray or cool blue or whatever. So
Dark.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, dark. Yeah, just yeah, that'd be cool. But they're pretty straightforward. Uh, yeah, I wish I wish there was more comes to this. I wish more cost effective, like not so expensive. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
I wish they
Yeah.
weren't. I wish we weren't paying £800 for good strings, or $600 or 600 US for woodwinds. Because it gets insane after a while, and and that's for good quality stuff, right?
Mhm.
If you're getting into orchestra tools, using Berlin stuff, or it just it gets to the point where it's like you have no choice but to do this now. You're in so
Right.
deep, right? So.
I
No,
can
That would be something. Yeah, I wish it was like half the price.
right.
So
For the price for those virtual instruments, I can see it since like they
Mhm.
have to essentially hire the musicians themselves can essentially say, okay, play this note for this long
Mhm.
and this way. Now repeat that for every single note for this instrument. So it it takes a lot of time,
Oh yeah, and you got to rent the
like a
space
lot
to
of
do
time.
it. You got to pay them per
Hmm.
hour.
you
Yeah,
gotta
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
mic
audio
them.
engineer.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
all the equipment to mic them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Can't imagine
I can
doing
definitely
that
see the
with
cost there,
violin.
but
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to ask? Or any what games do you guys play in your off time? Just out of curiosity, I have some
Ooh.
questions.
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
Uh,
Minecraft.
Uh,
you don't
True.
have to
Yeah.
share either. You don't have if it's a, you don't have to admit what games you play either. It's all
Oh
good.
no, no worries. Yeah, I don't know. College and being like Minecraft is just a nostalgic thing for me. So, and then this game on iPhone called Battleheart Legacy. I love those
Mm.
games.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Minecraft's killer. What about you,
Yeah.
John?
Well, primarily Minecraft and also something called Beat Saber,
Pete Saber?
if you've heard of her.
Nope, never heard of
It's a
that.
virtual reality
Oh,
thing.
okay.
So like you essentially slash these blocks that are floating towards you in time to the songs. So
Oh, I
it's
think I've
like
seen like
swing.
Instagram videos of that. Or like, yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, it's It's really, really fun. Like really fun. I think I have like 313 hours on that now.
Those are rookie
Yeah.
numbers. You gotta pump those up.
Right.
How about you, Morgan? What's your go-to games?
Uh, I'm I'm pretty bad when it comes. That's something I always have to set gaming aside to get my music done and stuff because like I have thousands and thousands of hours in the games. Like when I played WoW, I had like years of game time. Same with RuneScape, old school RuneScape. I've
Oh
been
yeah.
playing probably for 12, probably well, ever since 2007. So I maxed out probably like 4 accounts. So lots of hours there. And then Steam, I have games that have like 700 hours.
Holy
Some,
crap.
you know, a few games have 700 plus hours easy. You know, I love survival games, Forest, The Long Dark, yeah, Ark. I sunk so many hours into. Yeah, Sea of Thieves for
Long
Xbox.
Dark's really cool.
It is, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, cool concept. Yeah. So my go-to right, I'm only playing like two right now, really. Old school RuneScape, and the new COD once in a while. Play with my buddies on Xbox. I was gonna buy the new Final Fantasy VII. I'm so stoked for that. And I was reading the reviews today. I don't know if you guys ever played Final Fantasy VII at all.
I have
I've watched
yeah.
playthroughs.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I think I'm gonna hold out, get a PS5, and get it. But yeah, waiting for that, and it's pretty much it. It's Call the Wild, The Hunter. Play those as well too.
You
So
a Legend of Zelda fan?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Played a lot of those. Um, yeah, Harvest Moon, huge Harvest Moon fan. I wish they would make more of those, but it's kind of I don't know what happened to that. They were making one on PC on Steam called Relegend, but they're kind of I'm not sure what the developers are doing there, but yeah. I can go on forever, man. Sorry.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
worries. Uh, yeah, you got All right. Do you have any specifically? Because I remember first finding your channel and you had like 300 subscribers, and and then just between a span of like I want to correct me if I'm wrong, like a year and a half, you blew up. You have any YouTube marketing advice?
Um, I'm trying to think of what I did differently from when I started to now. It's definitely been a learning process. Um, do your best, and it's gonna be like make the best songs you can. That's not. It's not exactly just like that. Like
Right.
quality is big, especially your YouTube. Quality is important. And that, and I know people if they're ever watching this and they're doing their first song, it's not going to be top quality, and that's okay. People like if you go back and look at Adrian Von Ziegler's first songs or first videos, it's pretty potato. Just being honest, like to compare to now, like
Yeah.
and the cool thing I really respect about that is that he doesn't take them down. He leaves them up to show the growth of
Yeah.
the artist, and people like to see growth because then they're like, hey, I want to invest in this person. I want to invest time and invest money in buying their albums because they're actually improving and growing over time.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
so in terms of growing your channel, keep putting content out. Don't take huge breaks, like 2 year breaks. And there's times where you're gonna want to quit. Don't quit. Just stay at it. Like push yourself, push and push. And not every song is gonna be a masterpiece. That's okay. Put it out there. Get on to the next one. Um, it would help definitely if you advertise. You can use Instagram, you know what I mean, but it's not a end all be all. YouTube's algorithm's a little it's weird.
It
So,
is.
you know,
Mhm.
use your keywords, choose your keywords correctly with the video and choose a niche that where I call it like a blue ocean instead of like a red ocean, where it's not super saturated, where people will be directed to your content.
Mhm.
But at the same time,
It's awesome.
do your thing, but don't be like a sellout. Don't like how do I explain it? Don't hop on somebody else's success, like
Right.
because
Yeah.
People see that too. Just do your thing, put out content. That's all I can say. And the music will always speak for itself. If you're doing it for the right reasons, you'll be fine. If you're doing it for the wrong reasons, you'll get burnt out and your channel will die. I've seen it happen to a few friends and other fellow composers, and it's sad to see.
It is, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us, Morgan. And do you have any last comments you want to make or anything?
Not that I can think of. It's awesome to see you guys. Really cool to
Right
see you
back at
guys and
you.
actually talk to you
You
guys.
too, yeah.
And been keeping an eye on you guys, and look forward to do more interviews in the future. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would
100%.
be awesome. Awesome. Looking forward to your content, and I wish you both the best.
Thank you so much, man.
Oh,
And
Thank you.
thank you for all of you guys who are listening right now. Definitely go check out Morgan, his channel, download his albums, and subscribe to his channel. So all links will be in the description for that. And yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me. Good luck.
Absolutely. Thank you. And we'll be in contact. And if you ever just feel like you want to talk, just hit us up. And
Will do. Will do. For sure, guys.